on to item 5.
I'd like to thank all.
We thank you guys for showing up.
Yes, thank you.
No problem.
Just go to any of the casinos and pick up. Item 5 is a discussion and possible action with Mr. Polson from Lincoln County Water District. Who I turn this over to?
Mr. Polson, if that's okay.
Mr. Polson.
Thank you, Mr. President. In the spirit of cooperation and understanding how basin studies go, as we have spent over $20 million in the Tule Desert, studying that to get the water that we have out of the Tule Desert. Basin studies are pretty important if you're ever going to understand how much water you have, and if you're ever going to possibly even get any more out of your basin. So in the spirit of cooperation, my board, Lincoln County Water District, has given me direction to come down here and to offer an opportunity for us to help you as well as you help us to get a win-win scenario. Because we believe that basin studies are pretty important to do, we're willing to pay 50% of your match of the USGS match, which would be up to $55,000 a year for 5 years. That would be 50% of what your match is.
So you're willing to pay a quarter?
A quarter of the total study. In return, what we would like is to be able to negotiate with your staff and to talk with your staff into having a mutual agreement to supply a negotiated amount of water to the Lincoln County Land Act area. That would all be done with your staff and our staff. We can come together and we can talk about the needs of both districts. And through that, if we are able to come to terms between the staff, then we would bring an agreement towards you and also toward my board for ratification. This way, we believe that it can become a win-win so that you can get your studies done and get this basin study done so that you know what the sustainability of Basin 222 is, as well as that helps us out as we have a commitment for water on LCLA for our developers. And we're not talking large amounts of water here. We understand the cost of water. We understand what happens. We're not talking about thousands of acre feet of water here. But there is a commitment because of our investment to Virgin Valley Water District. We believe that the win for us would be a commitment for some water service to that. Don't want to get into a whole lot of details in the fact that we need to negotiate between the two staffs, and that would all the details would come out into the agreement. But this is our offering to Virgin Valley Water District.
Thank you. I think.
It's a win-win, Ted. It's a win-win.
It seems like we've heard that term before.
Well, let me give you a little scenario. And let's see if it's a win-win.
Okay.
Let's say you agree, and we have the study done, and we agree to provide you some water. The study's done, and it shows that there's less water in that basin than we had previously thought. And in fact, instead of obtaining more water, we're limited. Our water amount's reduced. But now we've committed to provide you with some of our water that we do have.
Chances are your water will never be reduced. As a municipality, it's the highest form of water in the state of Nevada.
But we're dealing with Arizona and Utah.
Actually, you're not, in the fact that this basin does cover Arizona and Utah, but the Nevada State Engineer does not deal with Arizona and Utah when it comes to appropriating water in the state of Nevada. He looks at the basin as a whole, and he will look at all the studies that have been done, and then he would make a ruling or a hearing, as they call
But
it.
he's gotta take into consideration that Utah has filed for 8,000 acre feet and Arizona has 12,000 acre feet.
I don't wanna put words into Jason's mouth. I've had lots of discussions with him about this. And I can tell you that our state engineer is worried about the state of Nevada.
Wish he was worried enough to write a check.
That would be nice. I wish I could get a check out of him too.
And I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I'm not opposed to the concept, provided, you know, that it is a win-win. But there's a ton of hurdles to,
There's possibly, yeah, there's possibly some hurdles. I don't think that, I've been working with you guys for several years now. I don't think there's any hurdles that can't be reached. I don't think that there is any hurdles that we can't overcome. I think with the willingness of cooperation, that we can come up with a scenario in which both sides are very agreeable to. And this also makes it more palatable for you guys to be able to move forward with this study, which is very important to you and to this basin, in my opinion.
So what I'm hearing is what you're offering, but what you really want to do is, the most important thing right now is you just want to sit down and discuss this. You don't need us to
Well,
agree to do this,
exactly.
we need to sit down and discuss this.
Exactly.
which
All
one.
I'm asking right now is to give permission for our two staffs to come together to negotiate for an agreement. And then, once we hammer something out, then we bring it towards you for final approval. And then it also will have to go before my board for final approval. So really, there's no skin off anybody's teeth here at all.
And if we can't hammer
And if-
out,
Exactly. If we can't hammer it out, it just kind of goes away.
well, I don't mind opening the door for discussion at all. I mean, obviously, the best case is we're able to find some money, pay for the study ourselves and not be obligated to anybody, but, I mean, I'm not opposed to opening the door as far as proposals.
I don't have any problem. I mean,
No.
I think if there's a chance that we can get some money out of Lincoln County, we ought to take it.
They've got a lot to give.
But,
If you show us a little good faith and give.
And open the wallet right
Yeah,
now.
give.
just write us that first installment.
Write a goodwill check.
Well, we'll never know unless we do have the negotiations, and the best way to do it is to sit down and talk through it, and then if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but I think just saying no is probably a mistake.
If there's not any more discussion, I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay.
I make a motion that we direct staff to proceed in talking with Lincoln County and outlining terms that be favorable to both entities as far as Lincoln County helping us provide for the basin study and us helping them provide water to the areas in need.
I'll second that.
Okay, we've got a motion, a second call for the vote. All in favor, none opposed?